So this is a video, a section I want to talk to you about. It's a very unique, and there are a couple of concepts I need for you to introduce and let you know about this. It's about let and var versus var, all right? And all this time I've been talking about let. And there will be an opportunity for us to see the difference to declare a variable calling var. More important, what's important about this is what's the difference between the two. We haven't done too much about discussion about var, and I saved this for key things with it. So in this discussion, we're going to say what's the difference between using the word let to declare a variable and the variable called var, or variable with it, in our programming language JavaScript, all right, with it as well. So just some key things I want to define here. There's been a lot of confusion between in JavaScript when you use let and when you use var. One of the things I'm going to have to introduce to you is what's called a scope. Bear with me. A scope is like the boundaries, all right? So it's like what's contained inside of a scope. Imagine that you're in a classroom, and I held up this marker right here, and I said, anybody in this room can use this marker. So only the folks in the room could use it. The folks outside the room is outside the scope with it, cannot use it. So it's contained in a lot of programming language with it. Scope is kind of like, if you think about it, it's kind of like a boundary. Sense with it, and it's demarcated with it's used what's called left and right curly brackets with it, and whatever it's inside this curly bracket, we call that is the scope. All right, so it's contained inside of that. So a lot of times when you write a function, and this function has a function name, all right, and has a function name like this. So writing a function could look something like this. You could do with a func, I want to say func1, and you have some sort of parameter, and it's contained inside of that. So the scope of that variable is contained inside of this parameter that you have. Now, we're going to get into some of the things. I want to give you some definitions here. First of all, I want you to look at that's the let. The let variable, gives you the privilege to declare a variable that are limited in the scope, meaning inside of that, all right, inside the scope to the block. And this is important because later on when we do like loops and all the stuff with it, it has curly brackets. Bear with me with it. It's inside the block. So the statement that we declared it of the expression is basically, the statement of expression is unlike a spar, unlike a var. All right. So that's very important to keep. And the second one is the variable, and the variable is rather, is a keyword. First of all, both of these are keywords with it, meaning that you can't call var or anything like that, which defines the variable what's called a little bit more global, meaning it's the analogy that I share with you. If I held up this marker and I said in this classroom, anybody could use this marker, meaning folks out in the hallway can access this marker and use it as well. All right. So the opposite word is local, which gives you more of a where the let is more. Let is a local declaration. All right, you declare it. Now, in this, the variable is more global with it. So in here, regardless of the block of the scope. So regardless of the block of the code. Block meaning the left and right curly brackets with it as well. All right. So I want to do an example for you to see what I mean by that with it. Let's see here. We can do here. come on down here and let's take a look at this with it as well. So the variable, let's do this. Let's do var, and we're going to do var variable. So I kind of did hump camel here. I'm going to use the string right here. This is a variable, var variable. This is a var variable. Close that quote. So, and then I'm going to do a semicolon on here. I'm just used to other programming language. If you're welcome to leave it off. It doesn't really matter with it, but that's just me. I can't live without a semicolon, seems like, with it. This variable, I'm going to change it a little bit with it as well. So basically, this variable that I have here, I'm going to change this one into a let variable. And I'm going to change this string a little bit with it. I'm going to say this is a let variable. Now, you notice in my other previous ones that I've done, I've used single quote. It doesn't matter, single quote or double quotes. It doesn't matter with it. So I'm just going to toggle between, because Java is very forgivable with a lot of the syntax with it. It's not as tight as C++ or Python or Java application with it. So I'm kind of loose with it. I can do single quote or double quote. Doesn't matter with it as well. Okay, so let's just bear with me on that one with it. So we have two variables that's what we're going to have to see, and we're going to see what actually gives you as well. So let's do this one. I'm going to do console.